Welcome back to Tactical Tuesday with Johnny Tiger. The date is June 7, 2022. The last session we talked about the map of human weakness, all the weak points on the human body, give or take a couple dozen. um, this time, we're going to take this chance because it is all relevant. We're going to take this chance to quickly review the three pivotal points on the human body. What are the pivotal points? These are three, actually more like four, because there's one point that uh, is doubled, but we usually say it as a three because the one of them is two. Uh, So the three pivotal points. These are points on the human body that if for some reason, whether in self-defense or in a fight, in grappling, in any kind of crowd maneuver, like if you're trying to maneuver yourself through a crowd of people and you need to move them out of your way, understanding these three pivotal points will make your job a lot easier. Now, of course, if you're the kind of guy that can pick up 1,000 pounds or pull a train behind you, then it doesn't really matter. But most of us can't. Most of us have a limited amount of energy, especially when there's a lot of stress, especially when there's a time limit, especially when there's something important on the line, like our life, our safety. In these cases, it is vital to find a way to move a person while expending the least amount of energy possible. The pivotal point, or at least one of these, is so intrinsic biologically that even other animals know to exploit them. The pivotal point is how small animals such as wolves, lion, I know I just said a lion is a small animal, but relatively speaking, can bring down animals that weigh 10 times as much as they are. Things like rhinoceros, zebra, moose, animals like that. How those huge, gigantic animals can get brought down by smaller predators. So let's get into it. When you are trying to move a person, there's like a gazillion way, depending on if you have judo, jiu-jitsu, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, aikido, and hapkido, and all that stuff. Okay, so there's a lot of way to move a person. You can drag them by the arm. You can take them by the leg. Uh, you can grab them around the waist and sweep their leg out. There's a lot of ways, but a lot of these, done if you have clocked in your share of grappling time, you will no doubt understand and agree that a lot of these maneuvers, while they are effective, are rather tiring. If I get someone to just stand still, and if the goal is, okay, just stand as stiff as you can, don't let the person move you, and I say, tell the other person to go, do your one leg takedown or double leg takedown, and again and then again and again. I imagine you get really, really tired after 10 times, 20 times. So if we skip over grabbing the arm, grabbing the belt, grabbing the leg, and just look at, okay, how can we get this accomplished easier if our goal is to move the person out of our path or to make this person lose balance? What are the easiest way? Pivotal point number one, the most obvious, the head. Okay, the head, or rather the brain, is the strongest weapon on the human body. which means the head is a central hub, the computer of the human body. So our body is biologically programmed to do a lot of things to protect the head, and as in relation, the neck, the spinal cord, all that, because that's what it requires to keep this computer running. We can exploit that by moving the head quick and in a quick and violent fashion in whichever way we want the person to go. Okay? If you cup the back of the head and bring it forward quick enough, you will find, even if I just do it to myself, I'll stumble, right? This is very, very important for especially smaller people to know, because it doesn't matter how big a person is, right? If you can master their head, if you can move their head quick enough, violent enough in a set direction, you can control where that person goes. The farmers in China and Taiwan have learned to move like 1,000-pound water buffalo this way just by controlling the head of the animal. I want to caution you guys that when you practice this, be mindful that if your partner is letting you do this to them, you don't want to go all out. You want to make sure you don't injure their neck, because it's easy to injure someone's neck doing this. So if Bruce is my partner and that Bruce is okay, do it to me, I'm not going to just boom, move the head like that, okay? If I do that, yes, I accomplished my goal, but I also lost my training partner. Most likely he'll never talk to me again, right? So when you do this, put your hand against the person's forehead or the side of the head or back of the head, and then you make sure the person's ready, and then you first start with a little bit of pressure, test the person, make sure they really are ready, and say, okay, 1, 2, 3, go. Right? Make sure, double check, triple check the person is ready for it. Right? If you are letting your partner do this to you, make sure that you drop your chin, tighten up your shoulder and neck so your head is tilted forward. Okay? From this position, if they do move your head, you will lose your balance. See, even when I do it to myself, that makes me lose my balance, right? But it won't wrench your neck out of whack. Okay? Don't just like stand here with your head up and someone goes like this, you'll hurt your neck, right? So, head and neck is the first, most obvious, pivotal point on the human body. Second, and this is the one that I said can actually be counted as two, is the upper arm. Okay, the upper arm. When you try to move a person by moving their lower arm, this is very difficult, especially if the person is resisting or very strong or very heavy, because there's too many joints here. If you move the lower arm, they'll just let their elbow bend and suddenly they're in your face, punching you. But you pull, they pull back, it's really difficult, right? Moving someone by the wrist or lower arm, it's very, very tough. So, rather than rely on that, there's a lot of brute strength and stuff like that involved. We're going to work on the upper arm. Okay? When you move someone via the upper arm, you don't want to pull or push toward the person. Okay? You don't want to pull away from the person or push towards the person. You want the upper arm to either go forward across the person's body or back behind the person. This one is extremely effective because most people, especially big, towering, humongous people, they are not very flexible for their arm to go back. Okay, so if you accelerate the upper arm either across the body, see how that would, even when I do it to myself, make myself turn, right? If you accelerate the upper arm straight behind them, that will also force their body to turn, right? So the upper arm is your second pivotal point. You have to know to maneuver them in the right direction. Don't pull or push. You want to maneuver it across their body in the front or back behind them, like you are trying to help them scratch their back with their own arm, right? Yeah. Number three, one of my personal favorite pivotal points, because a lot of people do not expect this, and yet law enforcement have learned to utilize this one in many countries, is the pelvis, the hip. When you grab someone by the leg and try to move them, if the person is heavy enough, strong enough, or trained enough, this is very easy for them to resist, right? If you hook their ankle, they pick their foot up, you grab their knee, they stomp their foot down. There's a lot of techniques. It depends on who got the better technique. But if you find a way, and this is why we put so much stock in our front push kick and our knee thrust and our side push kick, right? It's when you get the opportunity to accelerate the person's hip, either back or forward or to the right or to the left. You will force them to move, right? The hip is not a very flexible part of the body. This is where the leg is connected to the body and the spine is connected. So when you accelerate this piece of the body, the pelvis, the hip, very violently, very quick in one direction, it will force that person to move in that direction. So to recap, when we want to move a person, whether it's in grappling or in self-defense, we want them to move out of our way, or in crowd control, that we need to exit a place and there's a lot of people in the way and we can't move them. Always understand, rather than trying to grab someone's arm and move them, or shove someone's chest, or go for that cool leg takedown, go for the head, go for the upper arm, go for the hip. Eh? That will make you move heavy people, especially heavy people, a lot easier without having to expend an awful lot of energy. Thank you for checking out today's Tactical Tuesday. We'll be back again tomorrow, Wisdom Wednesday. But now, have a good afternoon.